And Dine Hadas Aleph, it says on the pasuk, V'anaf eitz avis. Darshu Chacham expounded on this pasuk, Sha'anafa, which means branches, Pirush, all of the leaves. Over here, Choifin is eitzav, are covering the stem. Shekeinu mashmois hakosov, va'anaf eitz, kiloimer shekol ha'eitz u'anaf. The entire tree is like a branch. Dainu shemechupa ba'olin, ayidei shen oisim b'kliya sheichman alapein, obeis she'olav kli k'mi kli. It's thick, and the leaves all cover the stick. Shemukavin zal zeh kin shal shelis, like a chain. Ve'izahaba oimer zahadas, and this is the hadas.
How do we know that this is the hadas? They took a picture and said this is hadas, like. Or there's no other tree that growing the three leaves, one like this.
I don't know, but you know, if anyone would come to try to use another branch,
I don't know why people said no, it's not.
no one would let him use it. Every year, we're using the same thing.
Right.
If someone would come and try to make a change, no one's going to listen to him.
Meaning different species.
We have a Messiah. Someone's going to come along and try to take something else, another species.
I saw that this year, some arovis, you have to be careful because somebody bought it from Texas or something. It's not the real arovis, you have to be careful.
Yeah? Interesting.
Yeah.
This year?
This year.
This year.
Be careful.
Beis, ve'eini nikra avis. It's not called avis, thick. Elam kin yoitzim min alapacha shloisha olam mikanech. At least 3 leaves come out at one together. Kiloimer, this means to say sheyoitzin shloisha olin. A yoiser smuchen zelazeh beigol echad, in a circle. Shein echem and namuchem chaveri. Not one of them is lower than the other. They all have to be the same, coming out parallel to each other. Ava b'shein kol ha-shloisha olin yoitzim ha'iketechad. Even they're not coming out all from the same part of the stem. They're coming out from different sides, but they're all parallel to each other. Kiven shein dvukin zevazeh, they are close to each other. And they're standing in one circle, equal circle. This is what the Torah calls avis. If you have 2 leaves are equal to each other. But the 3rd leaf is higher than them. It comes out of the branch on a higher level, a little bit above them. Or the 3rd leaf comes out from a lower spot than the other 2. And it goes up, and it rides on top of the 2. That's not avis. The term that's given is a hadas shoita. Upasul called Shiva, and it's pasul the entire 7 days. Hafilu b'shasat chak, she'efsher limse hadas acher. If you have no other hadas, this is not a hadas. Vein litul oisoi afilu b'loi bracha. You shouldn't take it even without a bracha. Kivin she'eni min hadas hakosher klal. It's not at all the type of kosher hadas. The Torah said anaf eitz avis. This is not avis. It has to be at least 3 clusters, 3 together, or more. It could be 4 or 5, at least 3. 2 and 1 lower, 1 higher is not the hadas there. We said earlier last week. You learned that what happens if b'shas chak someone had a lulav which was pasul. The emes was we mentioned it, but until in a later simon, that what should one do if one doesn't have any kosher Daled Minim?
don't bench.
עבוד בעברית זה ערבה.
Yeah. Because it's shalosh.
Basically, what we're going to learn later on is there are certain things which they're puzzled because they have a certain mum on it, a certain blemish. Really, this is the real Daled Minim. These are the four species. The question is that there's a problem with something puzzle about it. Then there is a svara to say that if I don't have it, maybe I can make a bracha and shaloi tishtakach Torah's Daled Minim Yisrael. I'm going to forget about the Torah of Daled Minim to take it.
But Kani doesn't even
It's not a hadas. This is not the hadas the Torah refers. It's not pshat, it's a hadas just that became possible. It's not that min and not that species. So it's also a grafted esrog. An esrog amork of the same thing. It's not an esrog.
That's machalot.
You're right, but the lahalach and Shulchan Aruch it's also considered ein minay. Right, there are a lot of other poskim that got the esrog amork.
We don't know exactly if the esrog is not or not.
Well, today, we don't really have the esrog hamorkim because all our esrogim are the same, and even if they graft them today, the way they graft them is differently the way they did it years ago. And the way they graft them is in a manner that even if they markiv them, it doesn't come out looking different. It looks exactly the same.
So you wouldn't know. It's even more problem.
There's no way to tell. So what they do in general in Italy, let's say in Italy, we'll discuss it today, I'm familiar with Italy a bit, is the farmers, in general, the esrog tree is a very weak tree. Right? It's a weak tree. It doesn't last that many years. So they want the tree to last for longer, so they take it and they put the tree, they cut off a branch, they graft it. How do they do the grafting? They graft it on top of, let's say, a
lemon,
apple tree, an orange tree, or something else. And the stem of that tree, the trunk and the bottom, they cut it off. And they cut off the whole upper part of the tree. They have the trunk of the tree, they take this esrog branch and they tie it on top of it. And it grows into it, grows together. And whatever branch, whatever comes out from the esrog grows regular esrogim. If a branch would grow out from the trunk, from the stem, it would be the other kind, the bottom kind. Orange, lemon, whatever it would be. Now, what they're doing this for is because it makes this tree stronger, because the bottom of it, the trunk and the roots are much stronger. L'maisa, since the upper branch comes out regular esrogim, you can't tell that it's a morkav, it's grafted by looking at the esrog. However, when you go, those that go down to Italy, they look at the tree, and if they see in the bottom of the tree that there's like a bulge, a knot, that's a sign, there's signs that they can tell, let's see that it was grafted, it was put together on top of each other. Because they see it grew into each other. So they're looking at that bulge, they can tell it was grafted. So a lot of times, sometimes the farmers cover it with dirt. So they have to dig away the dirt and look at the bottom, and then they say they don't take from that tree, they go to another tree. We're holding Taf Reish Mem Vav. Simin. Simin Taf Reish Mem Vav.
Mem Vav?
Taf Reish Mem Vav.
When you look at the esrog,
Siv Gimel.
When you're mum have esrogim, after a while, you tell
So Lamaisa, so there you're able to tell if the tree is a morkav. However, the farmers now have another way. Some of them take a branch from a morkav tree, from an esrog that was a morkav, and they take that branch and they plant it directly in the ground. Now it grows a regular esrog tree, and you won't know, there's no bulge in the bottom, there's no way to tell that this came originally from a morkav tree. That is no way to tell.
But the mumchim look at the esrog and could tell.
There's no mumchim today that could tell anything about the esrog is 100% DNA. Everything's exactly the same. It used to be in the times of Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch gives you signs, simanim, how you could tell what's a morkiv esrog. That was when they did the harkava, the grafting was done in a different manner. The way it was done in a way that the esrog actually wasn't the same type of species anymore. It changed a bit. So the Shulchan Aruch gave us some simanim, how to tell how the seeds were lying.
When you say Shulchan Aruch, do you mean the Shulchan Aruch mamash or all the stuff on the side?
In this case, the Shulchan Aruch itself doesn't discuss the Magen Avraham. No, but the Magen Avraham brings from Paiskim, and the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch also brings Mishabura, that they have 4 simanim how to tell the difference between Amok, because there's slight differences, so you have to look out for it. But in Maisa today, the problem is that they all look the same.
So we don't know 100%. I think the second to go to Italy, let's say buy like 1 acre, 2 acres, like 500 trees, and he told the guy, if I find this, I don't buy from you. So they're scared. They know that they don't not to mix.
The only thing they could tell is if the tree itself is a murkiv. There's no way they could tell.
But if they took a branch from a murkiv, they would never find out.
I spoke to many experts about it. There's no way. There's already some safer about it. There's no way they could. There's no way to tell. The DNA is 100% the same.
If they took a branch from the murkav, so that branch, so what really? I mean, the whole issue of the harkava was that they markived the branch of an etrog onto a lemon tree. So if they cut off that branch of the etrog, so that's pure etrog.
Okay. So there is a. Well, he's bringing up a good point. There's a discussion. What's the issue of an esrog American marker? What's the issue?
Yes.
So some say, like the Lavush says, that an isser was done with it because even a guy is not allowed to do kilayim. So the guy is not allowed to graft them together. So since an isser was done, you're not allowed to do a mitzvah with something that an aveira was done with. It's like mitzvah baba aveira, right? So the Indian, it's nevda by aveira. So the ma'isa you could tell that I told them in a morkav something which came from a morkav, but it's not the actual morkav tree. It doesn't have that issue. But however, the Magen Avraham and the Alter Rebbe say that the reason for why the esrog morkav is problematic is it's not the same. It's not the same as the esrog. It's a different species. However, you could also taina that it's not a problem today because the esrogim look exactly the same. So the whole problem is if it's another beria, it's a different species, a different min. It's not a different min. It actually has the same DNA.
The Amalek is a big edrog like this. It's a different one.
I was wondering that if you would take the Yemenite etrogim, are they interbreedable with regular other etrogim from?
Good question.
That's it. Because they look so different. Number one, they look so different on the outside, and number two, even on the inside. On the inside, there's just nothing on the inside. It's just all peel.
There's now there's a big sefer now in Taris Esrogim.
And he explained to you like different Esrogim with going on this. It's like Imam should go into details. Very good. It's very, very interesting.
Is the tijd voorgaan?
When I was a kid, my father.
We don't have any yidden. We don't have any yidden or mashgichim a whole year or farmers in Italy. It's goyim there. It's a faraway place. It's not anywhere where any Jewish community lives.
No.
So if you're buying it's far away. No one knows what the farmers are doing there all year. They say different things, but we can't really trust them. We have to know on our own what the story is. But
the tzechim usually know. Because
you ask some Seichim, they tell you. One Seicher tells me that he goes there and he sees it's all these hills. You know, he's driving and he sees white shirts and yarmulkes in a field where he knows there's grafted esrogim and they're collecting from there. When you come here to New York, you have no way to know what's esrogim working. You have to trust the person who went down to pick it.
But in Eretz Yisrael they have, right?
Eretz Yisrael is easier, yeah. So you have family Eretz Yisrael in Kachabad, right?
When I was a kid, my father had 7 trees at Esrogim.
Right. So
He
those
used to walk
trees
with a tree all year
have
round.
a big milah because the Shomer Shabbos, Shomer Torah mitzvahs that are able to watch it a whole year. You could trust them. Over here, it was in
job all
Goyim.
year round. It wasn't just
In the early years, in the 50s, the Rebbe was very concerned with all the years. The Rebbe was very concerned about Esrog. If you look in the Rebbe's letters, you'll see maybe 100 letters. The Rebbe is concerned about the grafting issues. At one point, he asked the person who went down for him to Italy if he can maybe try to find some Esrogim growing in the wild. He doesn't want ones which the farmers are tending to because they're going to they're going to graft it. Should you go maybe in the field in the forest somewhere try to find an esrog? I don't think that happened because esrogim don't grow really without tending. They need to be tended to.
a lot, really a lot.
So that's some people say that's the reason why that the Rebbe himself said that's why he's giving the seeds of his Yanav Esrog to Kfar Chabad because early years because he felt at that point that there's becoming a lot of shilas they're starting to crop up about grafting and murkav. So therefore he gave the seeds of his esrog that they should plant orchards in Kfar Chabad where they'll be able to mashkiach on it and to take watches.
The whole year.
But where did they come from?
So if you're a Chabad chassid, you say that was the Rebbe's esrog, he said a bracha on it, so you're going to rely on it. But anyways, it comes from the Italian esrog.
The Rebbe himself went in the war to Italy to get an esrog. He traveled from Germany to Italy, from Berlin to Italy to get an esrog in the wartime.
The Chabad Rebbeim were very into taking dafke from the Yanav Esrog from Italy.
There's a city in Italy called Yanav. And over there is a lot of Esrogim. Dafka from there they take.
What's the name?
Yanav is the port.
Yanav.
The poor.
It came the name Yanav based on the port. It's Taka, I think Calabria, there's 2 names, Calabria and Yanav. Which one is it? The region is Calabria where they grow.
It's
But the happen was, it used to be that the Yidden never went down to Italy. So maybe after World War II, the farmers would bring it to a port.
Right.
The port was in a city, Geneva, Yanav. They brought them to this port, and from there, at the port, they would meet up with the esrog business people, would come, and then they would take them back. But they wouldn't go travel all the way into Italy to Calabria. So it became the name Yanav Esrog.
Italy was a place of Torah. They like all in Kibbolim or
Full of Torah, Italy. There was they found in not long ago in Italy in a library, the public library in one of the small cities in Italy. There was a big Talmud Chacham, Moshe Mikazis.
Where?
Moshe Mikazis. That's where the city was, and they found he lived 400 years ago. They found chidushim of his on the whole entire Shas.
wow.
Just sitting in the Goyish library over there, the local library.
Wow.
He lived in town,
400 years ago.
so they haven't. There's no money to reprint it. No one's, but they reprinted like 2-3 mesechtas. Very chashav sefer.
Wow. When was that?
He lived at a time that there was a gzeira where they burnt all the Gemaras. All the Gemaras are burned. He grew up. He never saw a Gemara in his life.
So how did he write?
But he wrote a pirush on the entire Shas.
How could he write when he didn't have a Gemara?
So he used the Rif.
Yeah.
He looked at the Rif, and the Rif quotes only the Gemara Halacha Lamaisa, right? So and all the Gemaras which he held were Halacha. So it's a mini Gemara because he didn't rewrite the Nusach. He just chopped out any Gemaras which were Agadata or not Halacha Lamaisa. So he quote pieces of Gemara. So he based on that and based on other Rishonim. He had other Rishonim also. Based on some other Rishonim, the Ran and other Rishonim, he would see when they quote Gemara, and based on that, he would figure out what the Gemara was, and he wrote a Pirush in Gemara. And because of this, there is just a few times where you see that because he didn't have the Gemara, he didn't know the Pshat. If he would have had the Gemara, he wouldn't have had the issue.
But when was this found? This
Maybe 30 years ago.
30 years ago, and still now no one would have.
There was someone who went down there and he printed like 3-4 Masechtas. He did Shabbos. He did maybe Yuma.
They need a big ice.
How does paper stay for 400?
Yeah, you have. Someone has to be interested in the Afghan, the singing.
No, it's amazing how the paper stay for 400 years. It's not paper, probably on cloth.
Preserved in the right places, you know, the temperature and everything. It can last for a long time.
The Gemara has a story. One of the I don't know, Tanam Amaram, he had stomach problems, which became terrible. So another one told him, if you drink a certain schnapps that's made from apples, and that's a refuah for it. And they found some guy, and this guy, his grandfather gave him the barrels, and he had 300 barrels. You know, it takes time, and he had it. So he bought from him a bottle, and that was it. For the rest of his life, he didn't have this tzara anymore. So he said a bracha, Baruch Shemasar Eilamai L'Shaimra. He prays to Rabbi Shalom. There's all kinds of shekayim, you know, that say these things. Otherwise, then the person needs a Yeshua. He wouldn't have it. So here you see this guy in the library.
Well, you know that many years ago, maybe like 100 years ago, it was discovered that Geniza, Cairo, Cairo Geniza, was in a shul in Cairo where the Rambam davened.
Salman Shechter
was found in the Geniza. They had a shemus there. They had a certain place, a room. They would just dump all the shemus in the room.
It's like 900.
Someone went digging in over there, and they found out that on the bottom of the piles over there was shemus from all the generations. Every pile was another generation, because every generation was putting in their shemus. So as you went through the layers, you're finding out a different history of times. They found the Rambam's Ksaviat Kodesh, the Rambam's manuscripts in there, letters he wrote, like even Arabic things he wrote, like medicine, prescriptions he wrote. It fell into the shemus somehow, you know. But he wrote, you know, if you wrote a shopping list.
It's 700 years ago.
Yeah, it was
850 more. 850 years ago.
There was even maybe older things there. Listen, you know, and then you had the Dead Sea Scrolls that were found after World War II. You know, the Dead Sea Scrolls that were found in Eretz Yisrael, those caves over there, and they're 2,000 years old, these
They
scrolls.
found Machzit Shekel, a really Machzit Shekel. The one that used in Beis Hamikdash, they found out.
Yeah.
I saw a picture of it. You know,
They're doing a lot of
2,000 years
research on the
ago.
Makkah and the Beis Hamikdash. They found a lot of things, you know.
2,000 years ago. And they're still there.
They made good coins then.
Look at this, 2,000 years, it's still there.
Yeah. Okay, back to Hadassim. Siv Gimel. L'chatchila mitzvah la'achzer ha'hadesh shekuli avis. L'chatchila, it's a mitzvah to go dafke to get a hadas, which is kule avis. What does it mean, kule avis? And shekol hakinim shala olin hayoytzim b'chol oirich shi'urei shel shloisha tvachim yesh b'chol kan v'kan shloisha olin. A hadas has to be at least 3 tvachim high. A little bit over 9 inches, according to the small shear. And if the entire, every single part branches out 3, that's the best hadas to get. Mikol Mokim, the last line, im ein bekulay kulan avis, kivin sherubay avis, as even if it's not complete, but if it's majority, then sheroiv kinim shel olin hayoytz metoich oirich shul shlach toichem yesh v'chalach v'chem and shloish olin is a kosher u'mutal v'alachalom l'chatchila. When you go searching out for a hadassim, if you see that some of the hadassim don't have 3 coming out equally, there's 2 and maybe not 2 or 1, it's not 3. So if it's majority of them,
Kosher.
it's kosher l'chatchila. However, if you can get every single one,
Best.
is the l'chatchila mitzvah. It's a mitzvah to try to get that one.
So Shloshet Tvachim is what, like 12 inches or something like that?
Loy Deshir Reb Chaim, no, it's a little bit over 9 inches.
Oh.
Like the Chazon Ish, it's probably maybe closer to 12.
So if you get...
Today, everyone, you buy those packages today,
Yeah, okay.
you know, they don't sell anymore hadassim separate like they used to, you know.
Plastic
Maybe,
before, yeah.
maybe.
Everything now today comes in a
Yeah,
package. Your
yeah.
lulav comes in a package.
Well,
Your hadas, your haravis, you can't. Now a lot of the lulavim come now in packages
I
somehow.
haven't experienced. So, in other words, if most of it is 3 on a room,
Then it's fine.
sometimes you have 1 is high.
That's into the Rebbe used. It was fast.
Yeah,
Interesting. The best. That doesn't.
yeah.
The imam is the whole thing is 3. And very close also. It's like one leaf will go on the other. That's it, 3. The second 3 is halfway. So it's mamish like a leaf and the leaf and the leaf the whole way.
Siv Daled. In betchila yekule rube avis. What happened in the beginning, at the outset, it was taka that way. It was either completely, or majority was avis, meaning 3 coming out, each together. The achach noshimena olin, and then the leaves fell off. Afilo nasher ala echa nasher ela echa mikol kan v'kan. Even from every group, 1 leaf fell down. Mikol hakinim shalana yotzim chol eirich shuri. Afilu mixes hakinim nash aleihem legamri. Nishtaben afilu echad. Even if some of them fell out completely, all 3. Hayil uberoiv hakinim nishtayir b'chol echem echem roiv shir avis. Since majority of the, I don't know what kinim is in English, majority of the, where they come out from, majority of them have the majority of the shear too. So, but the Yeved, even if it fell, as long as you still have majority of majority. He says majority are still there, and each one is 2 out of the 3 are still there.
Right.
So you have majority of the majority, it's still kosher with the Yeved.
Usually 90% of the adasim doesn't fall. The one that falls is the aromas, not so much the adasim.
The stronger.
The adasim will usually stay
The leaf is stronger. Yes.
strong.
Stronger, and it's not so long, and it's not so thin like that others. It's
Right.
thicker.
And it doesn't get dry so fast also.
What does it mean, a hadas ha-mitzri? Hadas ha-mitzri, an Egyptian hadas, sheyesh b'chol kam v'kana yoytzim v'shiva olim. It has 7 leaves on each one coming out.
Wow.
V'noshel mehen arba olim b'chol kam v'kana, and 4 leaves came out from each one. How is a kosher? It's roiv. Now 4 is more is over 3. Ava bisha roiv olav nashru. Majority of the leaves fell off. The shear avis is to have clusters of 3. So have 3. So I don't care if majority went off. If 5 came off, even if minority of the kinim did not fall out at all, minority of the hadas ha-mitzri, you still have 7 full complete leaves on each one. However, the rest of them, 5 fell out, 5 leaves fell out. And kolmakin kimin sharoiv hakinim no sharoiv aleim, majority of the kinim, majority of the leaves fell off. You don't have any more clusters of 3. The shleishal, how is a puzzle? It's puzzle. Dinis elu sevav shein hadasim kshedim mitzuyin. In these countries, they did not have hadasim.
When he says these countries, he means those countries. He was
Russia.
living.
Not our
Russia,
countries,
yeah.
right?
The Russia.
Russia, Lithuania. Noyegin levarech al hadash shein by shloisha olim b'kon echad. The meaning over there was they make a bracha and a hadash who did not have 3. They had hadasim, but they didn't have kosher hadasim. They grew 2 on top of 2. So Shailas, that's not a pialocha. Pialocha, obvious, the way we explain it, has to be at least 3. It's not a pialocha. How did they make a bracha on it? V'yeshelamdu aleim schus. Some learned the schus on them. Shalei amru kol shekol hadash and shalei shal b'kanecha, that he had the shaitan sha'olah hashlishi. It's missing over here at the ending of the sif.
in the nose. It's in the button. One thing.
Probably did not have anything else but these two.
Basically, we said earlier on that a hadas shoita is no good. It's not b'chlal min hadas.
And he said what the hardest say.
What is the hadas shoita? Because it's two, and then you have a third one, which is above it or below it, below the two. Over here, there's no third leaf below or above. There's only two. So some said a limud schos that a hadas shoita is not pshat that it's not three. Even if it's two, it's also kosher. The problem is that it's two, but the third one is on the bottom or higher. Over here, there's no third one at all. If there's no third one, it's kosher. Pashtos, it's not that way. Pashtos, you have to have three. When one is removed below or lower or higher, means that there's no three. That's pshat. But he learned pshat, the Marik. This comes from Marik, learned pshat. One of the later Rishonim. He said the pshat is that two, if it didn't have three, l'chatchila, it's still kosher. It's only if it's supposed to be three, and the third one is not positioned properly, then it's possible. So this is the beer why the minig was in those countries they made a bracha on it. So now that we figured out based on this minig that they did take these hadassim, when do we say these hadassim become possible? If these hadassim are only two on each, when did it become possible? So he says pasha. As soon as majority of the leaves came off, that there's only one left on each, because there's two in each cluster. If there's only majority of the leaves of the hadas of the clusters came off one of their leaves, then it's possible. Siv Zayin, Hadasa Ma'elu, Kivin She'ein Bahem Rak Shnei Olim B'chol Kam, Lefichem B'roiv HaKinim Sha'olon HaYoitzim B'oirich Shira Sh'shoysh Tvachim. The length of the shear Shoysh Tvachim, we don't care what happens more than 3 Tvachim, because the shear is only 3 Tvachim. So if within the majority of the leaves that were within 3 Tvachim, Nasher Ach Ola Echem Mikol Echem Echem, one leaf fell off the majority of the cluster. Had is apostle, Sharei B'roiv HaKinim, majority of the Kinim Le'nishtayr B'chol Kam V'kan, Roiv Shira Avis and Shnei Olam. V'tzarech Lizar Me'oid Bazer, to be very careful. The Harbi Pam Nation Olam Harbi Mehadas. Many times leaves come off of the Hadas. And people are not being careful to make sure to take a kosher Hadas. Sivches.
We don't use it today. We use only 3.
I don't know if we even have it,
Never saw it.
Huh? You never saw it?
See, in Europe, maybe in Europe they have it, This is in Europe. Sivches. Yavshu Olav Pasal. What happens if its leaves dried up? Yeah, people have Hadassim for last year. You could save it, right?
Good for sun.
Lefi she'ein zeh hider. It's not hider al pitoida. Those puzzle. If it's not mamish dry, even though it's already on the way, it doesn't look so good anymore. It's not fresh. It's still kosher. How dry do the hadassim have to be considered a hadas hayavish? If when you touch it with your finger, your nail,
you fall down,
it starts to fall apart. It's very dry, that means. Then, and if it's totally lost all its green to it, it became white, it whitened, so then it's called yivation. Even if you stick it back into water for many days, it won't get back its color. It's like a dry piece of wood. It's still called dry. But before it lost its color, Even though when you take your fingernail and scratch it, it will come apart. If you'll let it sit in water for a day or two, it will come back to the way it originally looked and felt. Therefore, it's still kosher. Siftes. Im yavshu roiv ha'olin al shal kol shloisha badei hadas. If all the leaves, majority of the leaves, dried up, nishtayre chobad v'bad kan echad sheyesh b'shloisha olin lachin kosher. The majority of the leaves of the 3 hadassim dried up, and it was left over, remained only 1 leaf on
Each leaf has 3 elim. He has 9
one
leaves
on each hadas. Was only 1 cluster left. 1 group of 3 on each of the 3 hadassim.
So good.
Kosher.
Wow.
However, if it's on the very top, if the very top 3 are still there, it's kosher. That's what a person sees right at the outset. So a very big cool over here. But this is not if it's missing. This is if it's dry. It's missing. We spoke earlier. Missing the you have to have you have to have you have to have roiv still.
Wait, wait. That it says, oh, yavshu. Okay, I hear it. So it's
It
really,
has to have the other.
Oh, they're there, but
there,
they're
but it's
yavish. But
yavish.
if you have one
So you have fresh ones on
thing
the very
of
top.
3,
On the top,
but
and
it
it's
has
good.
to be on the top, not
Right.
in the middle,
Right.
at the bottom.
You should be able to see it.
Sif Yud. Ima shloisha olin elu. Shebereisha badim nilachin kvorin ale kmushin. Af b'shem hayu kol ale hadas kmushin kosher. Aha.
It's there, but it's not
The
dry, it's not
machlokes,
fresh.
what happens if the very top is not totally fresh? It's in
It's
between.
not dry and not fresh.
It's in between. It doesn't look too good, but it's not too dry yet. It's, So then, it's not enough to save the rest of the hadas. If the rest of the hadas is fully dry, it only can be matzel. It can only save the hadas to keep it kosher if the 3 top are totally fresh. Mashloisha, Sif Yud again. Mashloisha olin elu shebereisha badim ein alachin kvorim not totally fresh. And in Kemushin, even if all the leaves of the hadas, if 100% of the leaves were this manner, it would still be kosher. Still now, that they're all dry, the kamosh on the top, 3 is not going to save the dry. Only if the top is fresh, fresh, then it's going to save the rest. However, some argue and say no. Since be'etzem kamosh is kosher, it's not dry. It's like a fresh one.
Now the hadassim, even if you cut off the top completely, it's still kosher.
Oh, we're going to see soon. Next sif. Who's the halacha like? Who could be soymech on the second opinion? The second day and on of Yom Tov, it's only midrabanan because it's only zeichel mikdash.
The rest of Sukkot.
Right, only the first day. L'kachtem lechem bayom harishin. It's min haTorah. The rest is midrabanan zeichel mikdash, and he used to take all 7 days in the base of mikdash. Esmachtem lefnei Hashem alekeichem shivas yamin. Lefnei Hashem alekeichem is make shivas yamin. So the Maisa, since it's only midrabanan, you can be mekel. Sif Yud Aleph. Av b'shakol aminim shel lulav shenikdu Hashem psulim shein zehidr. Even though all the species of the lulav, with their tops were cut, are puzzle because it's not a hidr. Aval hadash shenikdem roishe a hadash if the top was cut off. I feel nikdem gufa eitz. Not only the cluster, even actual branch was cut. Shal hadas im olav with the leaves. That is a kosher. Why? Shahadas given Shemruba Allah and Olav and Isham Choyf in this marking Aktim and Aktim and Ikeres. This Shita holds that since the Hadas has a lot of leaves on it, the top leaves will cover over the cut part and it will still look Hadr. The whole problem is it doesn't look Hidr, it's still going to look beautiful. You're not going to notice B'chal the top is cut. The Yishcholkan as Evaim the Af Hadas Sheniktim Roisha is the same halacha, Sheniktim Roisha Eitz Atzmei Shalom Yoitzimenu Kim Shiroi Mahudra is a puzzle. They say no, it's puzzle like all the other ones. Well, if according to their words, even if it wasn't actually cut off physically, but it was had another puzzle. The three top ones were not cut off, but they were dry totally, which also makes a puzzle. They're all fresh and beautiful. Who's that halacha like? If you're able to find other hadassim, you shouldn't take these. You're allowed to take it. You can actually make a bracha, because that's the ikra shita. But lismech al svar yishon, rely on the top earlier opinion that hadas sheniktim roishi has a different status up here than all the other three minim of the lulav, because the top leaves cover it. So if you have no other choice, you can take it and make a bracha on it, even the first day.
So if you have hadassim that are kamushim on top, so the tikkun will simply be just to cut it off.
The evation would be good according to the shita. You won't even need to cut it off. According to the second shita, if it's totally dry, it's like it's cut off and it's still good. You don't even need to cut it off.
It does not exist.
Right? You could cut it off, make it look nicer, but you know.
He made like if it's not exist.
To the seams, yeah.
So
now,
Alice is the one that must make it. Like about the dry.
Right.
Or break the head.
Let's try to finish. Sifyud Beis. Derech eitz hadas legado pri adoim lanoven. The hadas branch grows a fruit which is similar to grapes.
Well, I guess I never saw it.
It's small.
A berry?
No, it looked like a berry, but small one. Hadassim has it.
I never saw it.
Vim yesh. I guess
you have
they take
psumim,
it off.
Right? You know the psumim that you have in shul, right? What's this small? What's that? What's this small psumim? It's like a black thing, right?
Oh,
what is it going?
I didn't know about it. You mean in the jar? I don't know.
Yeah. The what we use most of Shabbos.
Cloves?
Whatever. That's what
cloves is a different thing.
That's what Hadassim. If you look, some of them has these black things.
Vim yesh ba'oirech shira hadas shu shoysh tvachim. Kokach anav malol yesim and all like Daled Minim says a puzzle. If there's more of these grapes, quote unquote, more than the amount of leaves that are growing, it's puzzle. Even the second day and on, which is only the Rabbanon. Usually they are black or red. It's supposed to be green. This is like a spotted. It's like you don't have a green hadas. The ain't a hidr. Therefore, if they were green, kasher afil b'mirishin, hafapishem olive, even if it has a lot of leaves, more than the leaves.
So the green is very important in this.
And we have another eitzah. What happens if it's taka red or black, which is a problem? What happens if you cut them off? Sifyud Gimel. Film they're red or black, and they were problematic because they were even more than the leaves. And you cut them off, you pick them off from the hadas. Add to the point, show you all the oven that the leaves were more than the branches, than the grapes. Whether you did it from Erev Yomtiv, which is mutter to do it. Whether you made a mistake and you did it on Yomtiv itself, how is a kosher? Because now it's no longer there. Avol l'chatchila so l'maytem yomtiv. You're not allowed to do that l'chatchila on yomtiv. And yomtiv av b'shemot l'litish peiros b'Shabbos me'onav hatolosh me'ilom erev Shabbos. If someone has a branch of fruits on Shabbos, he cuts off a branch of apples or on Shabbos, you're allowed to take the apple off the branch because the branch is no longer on the tree. So why can't I take off these grapes off the hadas and make the hadas kosher? Mikol Makim still even Shaydei to through picking it off. Miskasher hadas mitzvah. So you're making a kosher.
He's talking about Yom Tov.
Arezer kemisakin klibi Yom Tiv. It's like you're making a keli on Yom Tiv, and it's also to make a keli on Yom Tiv. I feel made miskaven kalahach the hadas kalasi lachlan. What happens if he likes those grapes? He's taking them off and popping them into his mouth. So he has no kavana to make machsha the hadas, but derech agav he did do it. Kamakim har karchim miskasha hadas and asa kli al gabi tushazu. But he's a ke'aim psik reisha v'layamos. And it's like a psik reisha.
But the thing was not so to a mitzvah. So you can't do that.
Okay, but he didn't have kavanah.
What do you mean he didn't have kavanah?
Saying the ikr over here is not whether what he did the action was there was mutter. The shaila is whether the payal mamish he can use the hadas.
So you
Sif
could
Yudalid.
use that.
Yeah. Sif Yudalid. Amada one kishu psik tzarich lahadas zesh and hadas acher. When he dafke needs his hadas because he hasn't have another one. Halom yesh le hadas acher, he has another hadas when he tzarich kol hadas that he doesn't need it. Then mutar shanam tilachem b'yom tov. You're allowed to take off the grapes to eat it on Yom Tov.
Even though he's making machshir to be a good.
Even though derech agav he actually made that hadas branch to be now kosher, kehalacha. Vanasa keli became a keli. He doesn't need it because he has other hadasim. I take in klum, it's not a problem. You're allowed to do it. The main thing the halacha is, this comes out in the sim. There are a lot of cases in these different simanim that are not common. So when you learn the other cases, we can't forget the common cases. The common cases we said in the very beginning is where you should know the halacha, which in the Geya, l'chatchila, it's a mitzvah to dafka search for a hadas, which all of the leaves in the shear, the 3 tvachim of the hadas, all of them are clusters of 3 coming out equally, one right next to each other, throughout the entire hadas. If you can't find that, then l'chatchila, even l'chatchila you're allowed to use if roiv, majority of them are like that. Even if only majority like that, it's still l'chatchila. Next week we'll learn about Aravis and then Esrogim. Next week.